Hi, Nico Bezuidenhout, Acting Chief Executive Officer, South African Airways.
Thank you for talking to us. Here we are today in Cape Town at the 69th IATA AGM. What does it mean to be the host airline and also the host destination? What does it mean bringing all these CEOs to Cape Town and to South Africa?
Well, I think it's a great privilege and a great opportunity for us to showcase our country around the world. We've got 240 delegates, almost 800 attendees in total, 200 members of foreign media. So a great opportunity to showcase our beautiful country to the rest of the world.
There's a number of key issues that have been discussed both today and yesterday. One of them is climate change, and there was much debate around this. What are your thoughts and opinions, and what is South African Airways doing to lessen its impact to the environment?
I think climate, our responsibility to the climate is an obvious one. South African Airways was recognised as achieving a Stage 1 IATA recognition by IATA at this conference, so we're very proud of that. In terms of actively working, firstly obviously starting to measure your emissions and your carbon footprint, and then actively taking steps to offset these emissions. That was also one of the resolutions that was passed during this IATA AGM. In terms of how do we split the bill, because obviously there's a concomitant cost associated with emissions and offsetting these emissions, especially from 2020 onwards. So it was one of the key resolutions passed at this AGM.
There's also been some discussion around taxes and government support into bringing new markets into regions. Do you feel that the South African government supports the aviation sector?
I think so. I think the South African government is very active in the aviation sector to the extent of obviously its ownership of the national carrier, its involvement with airport infrastructure, air traffic and navigation services and the like. The government is an active investor in the sector. And I think that as you would have experienced travelling through our airport infrastructure, we can be proud of the airport infrastructure that we've got available in this country.
Airline alliances are obviously key and critical this day and age. How important is that to your airline, and are there new emerging markets that you're looking to tap into in 2013?
South African Airways is a mid-sized carrier. We have to accept that in order to remain relevant on the world stage, that there's sense in combining strength in alliances. SA itself is part of the Star Alliance, and we actively work at enhancing our relationships, not just with the alliance as a whole, but also on a bilateral level inside of that alliance. We play a very key role in the South African economy in terms of bringing tourists and business partners to our country. We support in the order of 77,000 high-value jobs in the country, directly and indirectly. Our economic activities stimulate further onward catalytic demand to the extent of 50 billion rand per annum. And as a flag carrier and our nation's flag carrier, it is very important that we use alliances as well as our own operations and our own metal to ensure that the appropriate airlift and connectivity exists between our country and our key trade and tourism partners.
South African Airways is a dominant airline in Africa, but there's some safety concerns around your fellow airlines in other countries. How does this impact you, and how can you work together as a continent to remove the stigma?
Safety is obviously a non-compete issue, and as you pointed out, as the leading carrier on the African continent, it is our responsibility to play a leading role, not just in the form of capital investment, but also in the form of skills transfer, ensuring that we've got consistent standards, working through regional bodies such as AFRA, and making sure that we raise the industry bar in terms of safety.
And then just lastly, passenger loyalty is obviously critical to any airline. What do you do to ensure the success of this, and why should passengers choose to fly South African Airways?
I think that passenger loyalty, regardless of which industry we're talking about, comes down to the basic facts is, do you meet the requirement of your customer, your passenger, your client? So in the case of South African Airways, we focus on improving consistency in terms of service delivery, improving our product, and that value point, that price point of making sure that you've got that right balance between the premium service that you offer at the most efficient, cost-effective manner in the hands of the travelling public.
And just to wrap up, I believe you were awarded Africa's leading airline last year by the World Travel Awards. What does that mean to you, and how important are the awards industry to your airline?
I think that awards serve as a welcome pat on the back and a recognition, but at the end of the day, that is just that. At the end of, it's more important for me to keep on focusing on making that next passenger happy, because that is what will make us relevant, that will keep us relevant, that will keep the passengers coming. So it's an absolute imperative to keep the passenger happy to the extent of receiving recognition. It is welcome, it is rewarding, but the very next day the focus on how to deliver the service better, more consistent, more often.
Well, we wish you every success and we thank you for talking to Breaking Travel News.
Great, thank you very much.